If you write code for a living, or honestly, even just as a hobby, you already know the feeling. The absolute mental drain of staring at a screen, typing out the exact same boilerplate code you've written 1,000 times before. Like setting up yet another Redux store, or writing the exact same API fetch for the 100th time. It's exhausting. And quite frankly, it completely yanks you out of the creative flow of actually solving problems. But what if you had a brilliant, totally tireless AI partner sitting right next to you, anticipating your next move and just writing that boilerplate for you? Well, today in this explainer, we are diving into the ultimate solution to that mental drain, GitHub Copilot.
So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover Meet Your AI Pair Programmer, how Copilot actually works, the art of prompt engineering, tools beyond the editor, and finally, your coding future. Let's get right into it.
All right, Section 1, Meet Your AI Pair Programmer. We really need to start with a high-level look at what this tool actually is, and honestly, what it isn't. So, by definition, GitHub Copilot is an AI pair programmer. It's powered by OpenAI Codex, which is this incredibly powerful generative language model that essentially translates natural language straight into code. But I want you to really notice that phrasing, pair programmer. Look, AI systems don't have free will, right? They can't make high-level architectural decisions or just code an entire production app from scratch while you go grab a coffee. Copilot relies 100% on you, the developer, to give it comments and code context. It suggests, but you are always the one in the driver's seat making the final call.
And honestly, the best part about this, you don't have to learn some totally new, clunky software ecosystem to use it. Copilot brings the AI directly into the environments you already live in every day. So whether you're a Visual Studio fan, a VS Code user, NeoVim, or you're using the JetBrains suite like IntelliJ or PyCharm, Copilot just plugs right in as an extension. It literally meets you exactly where you already work.
Moving right along to Section 2, how Copilot actually works under the hood. Let's pull back the curtain a bit and look at the invisible magic that's actually powering these suggestions. First things first, we absolutely have to address the biggest beginner myth out there, which is a massive intellectual property fear for developers and big companies alike. Does Copilot just secretly copy and paste code from public repositories? The short answer? Absolutely not. It uses a fascinating concept called probabilistic determination. Now, the AI models were definitely trained on public code, but they don't actually contain a giant searchable database of that code. When Copilot gives you a suggestion, it isn't copying and pasting from some random person's GitHub. Instead, it's looking at your current context and calculating a mathematical probability of what text is most likely to come next. So it's predicting, it's not copying. Let's walk through how that actually happens in real time, step by step. First, your prompt, like a comment you just typed, is securely transmitted over HTTPS. Second, Copilot gathers context. And this is super cool because it doesn't just look at the line you're on. It peeks at your neighboring open tabs, your file paths, and the frameworks you're using. Third, it runs a technique called fill in the middle, or FIM. This is brilliant because it analyzes the code before your cursor and the code after your cursor to get a complete picture of what you're doing. Finally, if the response passes all the security filters, boom, the suggestion pops up on your screen. And this entire process happens in literally milliseconds. Which brings us to Section 3, the art of prompt engineering. We know how it works now, but how do we actually get the best out of it? Because Copilot is really only as good as the instructions you give it. Prompt engineering is basically the practice of giving an AI specific instructions to get the exact results you're looking for. It's kind of like giving a writing prompt to a student. If you just say, write an essay about a book, who knows what you're going to get back, right? But if you say, write a 5-paragraph essay analyzing the use of symbolism in The Great Gatsby, well, you know exactly what the result will be. Copilot behaves the exact same way. Garbage in, garbage out. Clarity in, quality out. Think about the difference here. If you give it a super generic prompt, like just typing an empty function name called fetch data, Copilot might just spit out some empty brackets and leave it guessing what data you want and where it's coming from. But if you write a highly specific comment like function to fetch user profile data from the REST API, taking a user ID as input and returning a JSON object, you are steering the AI exactly where it needs to go. The resulting code is going to be incredibly accurate right out of the gate. Another really powerful trick is providing examples. Now, Copilot is highly capable of what we call zero-shot learning. That means it can generate standard boilerplate, like a quick temperature conversion function, without you ever giving it a previous example. But let's say you have a very specific coding style or a quirky way you format your data. Providing a quick, tiny example up in your comments massively improves the AI's contextual constraints.
Why does this matter? Because it instantly learns your personal style, saving you from having to go back and manually reformat all of Copilot's code later.
But hey, what if you don't want to manually type out those style examples in every single file you open? Well, here is a massive pro tip for you: context engineering. You can actually create a file called copilot-instructions.md and drop it inside a .github folder in your project repo. Inside this file, you just write down all your house rules. For example, you tell it exactly how your React components need to be structured, or your strict rules for error handling. Copilot will automatically read that file and apply those permanent rules to every single chat and code suggestion across that entire project. It's a total game changer. All right, let's jump to section 4, tools beyond the editor, because Copilot has grown into a massive ecosystem that goes way beyond just auto-completing lines of code.
Just look at how these features stack up now. First off, you have Copilot Chat. This gives you a full ChatGPT-like experience securely inside your editor. You can literally ask it to untangle messy legacy code, write your unit tests for you, or hunt down an elusive bug. Then there's Copilot CLI. If you've ever wasted 20 minutes Googling how to undo a Git commit, this one is for you. It helps you remember shell commands and flags right there in your terminal. And finally, Copilot for pull requests. When you're ready to merge, Copilot will read through all your diffs and automatically draft a super clear, comprehensive PR description for your team. It saves so much time.
Oh, and then there are Copilot agents. This is a huge feature that really represents the absolute cutting edge of AI collaboration right now. Instead of just helping you type, you can actually assign a GitHub issue directly to a Copilot agent. In the background, completely on its own, it will spin up a virtual machine, clone your repository, write the code to actually fix the issue, and then draft a pull request for you to review whenever you're ready. All of this happens asynchronously while you are off focusing on entirely different tasks. It is quite literally like having a junior developer working alongside you.
And that perfectly transitions us to our final section, your coding future. Let's wrap this explainer up by looking at the objective, real-world impact this tech is having on the software development lifecycle right now.
Well, the data is officially in, and honestly, the numbers are staggering. Studies are showing that developers using GitHub Copilot are up to 55% more productive at writing code. 55%! Tasks that used to take hours of manual typing and endless documentation searching are now getting knocked out in a fraction of the time, and they're doing it without sacrificing any code quality.
But you know what? Speed isn't everything. Combine that 55% productivity boost with this incredible stat. Developers are reporting up to 75% higher satisfaction with their jobs when they use Copilot. And it makes total sense, right? Nobody became a software engineer because they just loved typing out repetitive boilerplate all day. They became engineers to solve complex, interesting puzzles.
Which brings us to this essential quote: Copilot frees up a developer's time to focus on more fulfilling work and solving bigger problems. That's it right there. The true value of Copilot isn't just about raw typing speed, it is about conserving your mental energy. By taking all those mundane, repetitive tasks and handing them off to an AI, you get to preserve all your cognitive bandwidth for the good stuff: architecture, user experience, and actual innovation.
Which leaves us with this final thought. We are officially entering an era of human-AI collaboration, where the friction between having an idea in your head and executing it on a screen is just rapidly disappearing. So as the AI handles the boilerplate, the messy syntax, and all the mundane chores, what massive problems are you going to solve with all that newfound mental energy? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy coding.